Hello, everybody. Welcome to ICC's Game of the Week with your host, as always, Joel Benjamin. I want to return to the Gibraltar Masters for a game that was largely overlooked, but quite interesting and entertaining. Lazaro Bruzon, one of the leading Cuban grandmasters for quite some time, tried a fairly rare move in the opening that led to a new position by move 6. On move 10, his opponent, Alexander Donchenko, made a bold decision that plunged the game into complications. As is typical of such situations, some of the roads not taken were particularly unusual and enthralling. All right, let's get to it. Bruzon playing white, and he has a bit of a flank start to it. This is a move order that grandmasters in particular like. It's very flexible. It can lead to queen pawn openings, but it takes away certain options from black. If black wants to play Grunfeld, white can play some special systems where he holds back the d pawn. Also, it can be effective against a player who maybe wants to try to play an IMSO Indian. I get it a lot myself, actually. It's a move order I deal with quite often. And here, Donchenko actually he does something that I've tried a few times, because after this G3, black's main choices are playing some kind of Catalan with D5. Or some kind of Queen's Indian with B6. You know, if you typically play the Nimzo Indian or Bogo Indian, you're not going to get it against this move order. So one thing that you can try is this move A6. And almost all the time, white plays bishop G2. You know, normally bishop G2 is the immediate follow-up to G3. And then black can play B5. And white would be very mistaken trying to grab a pawn, because if he takes his pawn on b5, if the bishop takes a8, d5, that bishop is trapped, and it's not going to get out. So after b5, white normally plays b3 or d3 and just defends the pawn, bishop b7, and so on. Bruzon did something a little bit different. He played d3 here, and that's a move that's been tried. I don't know, maybe 25 times, something like that. Now, black, of course, does not have to continue b5. He can go ahead and play d5, because this move on the previous turn is normally met by d4 and a transposition into the Catalan. So here, white has put the pawn on d3, less aggressive, and the move a6 is usually going to be at least somewhat useful. I've seen a lot of games white just plays b3 here and goes for some kind of ready, but certainly that would be a position black doesn't really have to fear too much. So I'm not sure what exactly Bruzon had in mind there. There doesn't seem to really be any consensus. But Donchenko continued with his plan with b5, and then comes a4. So that's sort of what makes the d3 move special. White has the idea of driving the knight from f6. Now we've got some fragmentation from this position. A few games with d6, keeping the knight in place, and then both players develop pieces normally, and so on. But Donchenko plays a more provocative move, bishop b7, which has been played twice on the database. So with each turn, we break it down into fewer and fewer games, and this position it only occurred once before that I could find. People might find a few more games in a bigger database than ChessBase has, but knight bd2 was played once, which again leads to more quiet pathways. But Bruzon takes up the challenge with e5. Knight g4, and now knight takes e5 is threatened. So he defends the pawn, check, and knight c3. So